Okay, so let me just first set this off by saying that this movie represents a first in three very important ways. First thing is that Julia Louis-Dreyfus, TV legend. I mean, let's hear it for Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Seinfeld, New Adventures of Old Christine, Veep, 14-time Emmy nominee, 3-time winner, maybe a fourth tomorrow, fingers crossed. She has never carried a movie like this. Think about it, she's in every single scene, and she's so good in this movie, it almost feels like she is a revelation in this film. Right? Second first, James Gandolfini, someone who really plays a lot of tough guy roles. I mean, hello, Toni Soprano. This movie as Albert, he is this lovable, gentle, vulnerable, romantic leading man, and he's really good at it, right? And Nicole, this is your fifth movie. Your previous films, Walking and Talking, Lovely and Amazing, Friends with Money, and Please Give, were all ensembles. Sort of like a cross between Woody Allen and Robert Altman, but with a very strong female voice. This is your first movie where you're focusing on one relationship. So tell me why this movie, to do that for your first time, and the sort of, how you sort of stop yourself from going off into tangents and making it an ensemble.
Thank you, by the way, for such an enormous response. That's so nice. Really. What? Yeah, it was easier for me to write ensembles, and I liked creating characters and then having the mother and the friend and the neighbor, and then suddenly everybody's in the movie. It was kind of a challenge for me to just focus on one person, but as soon as I did with Eva, I managed to find enough to fill her life. It seemed not as difficult as I thought it would be. I know most people do it, and I found I could too.
Now, because you did stay really focused on the two of them, on Albert and Eva, did it make the process of writing the movie, did it come easier? Was it faster for you? Was it just as laborious as your previous works?
You know, I don't remember. I think it's like childbirth, you know, you sort of try to forget about it. So I don't know. I think it's never that easy. Parts of it are fun and easy, and parts of it are hideous and slow. It was hard navigating my way around the plot, the thing, you know, the coincidence, and trying very hard to keep the characters real, make it not silly and stupid, because then I would be very embarrassed to make it. So that was the hardest part for me, was that contrivance and not having it go sitcom-y.
Well, the first thing I noticed when I saw the movie a little while ago, and then because the movie opened Wednesday, all the reviews on Rotten Tomatoes have been very, very positive. It's one of the best reviewed movies of the year, and which is great. But the thing about this movie is that it's a delightful, charming, funny, romantic comedy. And imagine this, it's for grown-ups. How nice is that? So, like, to have that sort of reaction from people who've seen it now and from the reviews, I mean, how
I don't know, she's not a grown-up. She seems enthusiastic. Sorry, nobody can see you. Did you like it? Yeah? It wasn't boring?
How old are you? You're 11 and you like it. See, it's not only for grown-ups.
But mostly. And wait, what was the question?
How happy are you with the pot? I mean, you're getting like the best reviews of your career, really.
It's pretty nice. I can't say it's bad. It's really nice. It's a little surreal and strange, but so much better that way than the other way. And,
always preferred.
Yeah, always preferred, and I feel like, oh, maybe it'll be easier to make my next one. Oh, maybe I'll make some money. You know, and I'm so pleased for the actors in the movie. You know, I feel so, not really proud, but so happy that they're getting received so well.
Well, tell me about when you first brought Julia on board and discussed the character with her. How excited was she to play Eva? Like, what what ideas did you sort of bat around between each other the first time you really talked about the script?
We mostly talked about probably our personal lives and our kids, and she had just sent her kid, well, not just, but like a year before to college, and she was still a wreck, and she started to cry. And, you know, her emotions were just so accessible, and she was so smart and loved my other movies, which made me feel like she got my taste and the tone of the movie, and that was really important to me. We had a lot of laughs. We just really got along quickly, and we both agreed we wanted to have fun. She did not seem like she would be a pain in the ass at all. And she wasn't, because I'm on the lookout for that, you know, that happens. And not for someone who's going to be in every scene, you know, that's just, life's too short.
Well, because she is in every scene,
Yeah.
did you discuss that with her? Did she say to you, hey, by the way, I've never actually done a movie where I'm in every scene before?
No, in fact, she didn't, we met not actually, it was more of a general meeting. She had read the script and liked it. I wasn't sure I wanted to cast her. We wanted to just meet. And then later she said that she was sitting in her car, and I called her up, I guess a week later, and I said, what do you think of James Gandolfini? And she was like, oh my God, I think I have the part. She didn't know she had the part. And I was asking her what she thought of her co-star. So she had a lot to take in. And she was like, I hope I'm Eva. She didn't even know, I guess I didn't communicate very well. Or her people didn't call her or something. But she went with it and loved the idea of James Gandolfini. And
But when you see on the page Albert, when you read this character, I have to confess, James Gandolfini would not have been my first choice, or probably even my second, but watching him play this role, realize he's a natural. You cannot imagine anyone else playing this. I mean, but because it was really the first time he had played a role like this where it was vulnerable and also very funny, the closest I had ever seen him do something like this was a movie called Welcome to the Rileys, which was with Melissa Leo and Kristen Stewart, but that was a much more serious role. But the humor, the comic timing, the vulnerability, self-deprecating humor, all these things that he brought to the table, when you discussed the part with him for the first time, did he just say, yeah, this is for me, or was he like, have you seen The Sopranos?
no, I think he wanted to get away from that. We didn't really talk about the character that much. I mean, I don't think we went to Juniors, which is no longer Juniors. It was then. And we ate and we talked, and I was like, you want to do it? Yeah, I want to do it. And, you know, he joked. He would say, you know, Woody Harrelson's available. You know, Alec Baldwin's available. You're sure you want this? But that made him all the more charming. You know, he still wanted in. And that was kind of it. You know, we talked about the character more as we were shooting it and as we rehearsed it a couple of times and read through the script. But I think it was pretty clear who this guy was on the page, and I think for Julia as well.
Well, when you see them, I mean, Julia she's so petite. You know, James is a big guy, and yet they have this chemistry that is just instantaneous and so. I mean, that obviously a movie like this, the chemistry has to be there, or we're all in trouble. But when did you realize that it was there, and you're like, thank God?
The first time the three of us got together, we read through the script, and they were both shy and adorable together, and a lot of mutual respect, I think. But, you know, people say co-stars hate each other, and the chemistry still looks real. So I didn't want that to happen, but I was just, you know, they say that happens. I think, you know, there was a attraction and respect and a lot of laughs. They both had a great sense of humor. They were very different from one another, you know. Jim was very kind of slow, and his humor was different than Julia's, and it's a little scary to match wits with Julia. And I think he was trying at first and kind of stumbling, and we just wanted his sense of humor and his timing, because that's what ended up in the movie, and it's so great.
Well, because they do have different sensibilities.
Yeah.
While you're making the movie, in what ways did she improvise that made it onto the screen, and in what ways did he improvise that made it onto the screen?
Well, so many lines they both added. A lot of them are at the end of scenes, which is curious, like the end of that horrible dinner party scene with the ball in the drawer. That was Julia's line. That is not in the script. The scene just ended with, you know, oh my God, it was kinder to fire her. And then she leaves. Oh, and also, Angela added, you people discussed me, I think, was the line. And then she said, but you was nice, Mr. Wu. And then Ben says, thank you. All that's improvised. Doesn't that make me look good? It's so lucky to have smart, funny actors. And then Julia, can I say this line? Can I say this line? And she could barely get it out. We were laughing so hard. It was like 4:30 in the morning. And it was just so brilliant.
I love the line, too, when James Gandolfini and Julia Louis-Dreyfus are laying there. He says, can I ask you a question? Can you be honest with me? And he says something that was his idea.
Yeah, can I say, can you breathe while I'm on top of you? And I thought, yeah, I wasn't sure that was such a good line. I don't know. And then I loved it as soon as he said it. And again, he added a lot of lines at the end of scenes. Wait, which one was I going to say? Oh, when they're online at the movies, at their first date. And she says, do you like fake boobs? No, I like real boobs. She says, I got real boobs. And that's where the scene ended. And then he says, well, that's working out for us then. And that's the best line, you know? So I can't take credit for a lot of funny stuff. But, yeah, we had a good time.
Well, you're editing the film, and I want to take questions from the audience too. So if you have questions, please feel free to ask us. When you're in the editing room and you had your first cut, how was your first cut different from the final cut?
Well, it was an hour longer. You want to see it?
Sure. DVD, baby.
There's a few scenes cut out in the movie. There's actually like a whole subplot cut out. You know, it takes a long time to edit the movie. It really did. But that's not that unusual. So it was very different. I mean, it was, the script I wrote always, it never was like, oh my God, what have I done? It was never like that. Because their performances were so good.
But I understand that Julia was actually editing the movie with you, or she'd be there on certain days to edit with you.
Yeah. Well, she didn't edit, like we didn't cut with her there, like cut there, cut there, cut there, but she saw a lot of different versions of the movie and would give notes, and I would ask her for them. And she was very smart and objective and could watch herself for the most part. You know, she was very unvain. I think there might have been one shot, you know, could you look from a different angle? And but once, you know, which is very unusual. So yeah, she had a lot of, it was a collaborative thing from the start with her.
Well, also your relationship with Catherine Keener, I mean, obviously you have a very long-standing relationship. What is your relationship with her compared to just other actors you've worked with? I mean, obviously, there's like, you bring out the best in each other. She's like you're like a muse to her, and vice versa.
Yeah.
But that's a really fruitful relationship. Yeah.
It is, and it was never planned that she would be in all my movies. It just, one at a time, I could get her, and I knew how to reach her. And we had a good time working. Some of the parts I wrote for her in the 5 movies, and this one I didn't. It just came down to casting. I was like, I wonder if she would be interested in playing this kind of strange part, you know, that she'd never really played before. And she wanted to immediately. So it's a very long, it is a nice, long relationship.
That's awesome. Okay, who's got questions?